Okay, got it. Is there another breakout?
After each speaker.
There is, okay.
In the second year, called
All right, welcome everyone. I hope you had a good, quick breakout session. Right now, we are going to ask for at least 2, and if we have time, 3 volunteers to give us 45 to 60 seconds highlight of what your group talked about. Who would like to be our first volunteer? You're like the students in my class. Don't make me randomly select someone, because that's the person that didn't read the chapter ahead of time.
I can talk about our group.
That'd be great. Thank you, Larry.
Our group basically reviewed the functions we had, events we had. I'm not sure who the club was. She didn't mention which club it was, so I apologize for this. But we had beer tasting. We did a virtual Pints for Polio. She said it wasn't as well attended as they thought it would be, but sounded like they made a little money. Columbus Rotary had a Halloween night walk and run with the dead at a local cemetery. They said it was, they made more money the year before and was decently attended, a little less than the year before because of COVID. Cambridge Rotary, which I'm a part of, we had canceled 2 events at that same time because of the virus. We were asked to shut that down by the health department. Another Rotary, I think it was Jacksonville. They had a chili bean and hot dog roving food truck. And he said it was very well done. They made about $2,300, and which I thought was a great idea, actually. I'm going to bring it back to my club. And the Dublin Club had a silent auction, 2 of their large events because of the local issues had to be canceled. Those were our main top things we discussed.
Great, thank you, Larry. And it sounds like those events are, like you said, some of the stuff you can bring back to your club, and that's one of the goals here is idea sharing. Let's go to one more person who would like to report out and give us some of the ideas and recap what their group talked about.
I'll go. I'm the newbie, so I got to do these things. AJ and I have been in these groups before, and they have a flag project in St. Clairsville, which is very successful and they're known for. And the one that really appealed to me was Jenny was telling us about their murder mysteries that they do every year, which they will have to do an abbreviated version this year, but I can't wait until it's like full on that again.
The murder mystery has made its way to Marietta's Rotary as an idea. And I said, we can't steal it from Athens, but it's getting around.
Steal it. Steal the idea. I'm totally endorse you stealing it.
All right, up next, we're going to go to Pat. And Pat's group does something with chili, which sounds delicious. So Pat, we're going to turn it over to you for 9 minutes, and I'll keep the time and give you a 1-minute warning.
Okay, thanks, Rick. So I was telling my breakout group, I'm a last-minute pinch hitter here for our chair of this event. So I don't really have a whole lot prepared, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. The event is called the Chili Open, and when it was started over 20 years ago, it really was somewhat of it wasn't a chili cook-off, but we served Wendy's chili. Wendy's was a sponsor back then. Really, it is what we call the best winter party in town. Over the 20 years, it's really morphed into something amazing. And 10 years ago was kind of a watershed moment for the event when we moved it from the Anheuser-Busch property, where we just put a tent up out in a big field, to the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. And that move really got us a lot of publicity. We had always had a relationship with various television and radio stations around town, but having the reputation of the Columbus Zoo behind us really helped with that event. And it really propelled it from about $100,000 fundraiser to about a $200,000 fundraiser out at the zoo. And so a lot of that money that we raise from that event comes from sponsorships. And what I was telling my breakout group, when we think about making money in our club, we think about it a little bit differently from a fundraising perspective. We try not to put pressure on our members to give to our foundation. We encourage our members to give to the Rotary International Foundation, and we fund our foundation through our fundraisers. So we are asking our people to go out and be salespeople and network and build those relationships, whether that be for a monetary sponsorship or an in-kind sponsorship. And as I mentioned, some of the in-kind sponsorships that are important to us in this event are the media. So currently we have WBNS 10 TV as a sponsor, WCOL, Woody and the Wake Up is Woody is one of our MCs of the event. So they sponsor us in kind and give us a lot of publicity. Lamar Billboards gives us a lot of visibility around with their electronic billboards around Columbus. So all of that visibility gives us a pretty compelling story to tell monetary sponsors. And as Rick was talking about at the beginning, we do have certain levels of sponsorship. There are event sponsors, which get you some naming rights for the event. As I mentioned earlier in the event's history, it was the Wendy's Chili Open. And most recently, it's been sponsored by Kroger and Papa John's. And then we have other tiers of sponsors. We let people sponsor our VIP area. We have people who sponsor our main tent area. The event is now called the Chili Open with a Y. It's not an I. The reason it's called Chili, CHILLY, is because it's held in February. It's the first Saturday in February. So it is a little chilly, but we have it all enclosed in a nice warm tent with a huge tent out at the zoo. And so we give naming rights for the tent and the stage and those kinds of things. And so a key component to this event, even though we do have some different revenue sources for ticket sales, we have a silent auction, we have a live auction. Those are nice components of revenue for the event, but the bulk of the revenue does come from sponsorships. And so I would say, encourage you to network out there and try to build a package that shows a value for your sponsors. We found Kroger is a great partner in this event because they're so good at giving back to the community. But it's nice that we're able to go tell them, hey, we can help you you're going to get a lot of publicity if we say this is sponsored by Kroger, and their logo is going to be right up there with the main event logo on all of our social media, our website, as well as I mentioned, all of the other media, the television, radio, and billboards. And that's how we were able to scale it up to be a $200,000 fundraiser. We messed around for a few years with, thinking we could make more money by selling more tickets. And that was a little bit of a fallacy, actually, because there's a capacity that you can fit at the zoo in those tents in February anyway. And we usually fill it because we usually have 4,000 to 5,000 people at the event. So it's not about selling tickets. We end up probably comping more tickets than we do selling them because, we want to kind of wine and dine potential sponsors. So we use the VIP area. If we have a potential sponsor, like a large employer in Columbus, we'll give them some tickets to come see what the event is all about. Hopefully they have a good time. And then we talk to them about what we do with the money, which is we support usually anywhere between 8 and 10 children's charities around Columbus. And of that $200,000 we raise, we usually give away between $125,000 and $150,000 every year from that event. So as I mentioned, I'm pinch hitting. I didn't have anything formally prepared. I was just kind of winging it. So Rick, I don't know how many minutes I'm into my 9 minutes, but if we want to, I can cede a little bit of time for somebody later, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Pat, you're almost exactly on time, so that's perfect.
Good.
We're gonna go into our second breakout rooms now, and the questions that I want you to answer are things like, what events have your Rotaries done that haven't been successful, and why? And if the reason is because people didn't show up, go deeper. Why didn't they show up? Don't make this about COVID either. Stretch back a few years. Let's realize what mistakes we've made and what we can improve on. We're going to go to our breakout room now for 7 minutes.